Today I want to go through the mental exercise of grasping at straws. Before I go on, I want to explain my stance on canon so everyone can get a feeling of where I'm at. Everything is canon until otherwise contradicted. What I mean by this is everything is canon until something wipes out what used to exist completely. So, as an example of this would be the old EU after Return of the Jedi. It's gone due to The Force Awakens. So with that out of the way, let's move on to the topic of this video, the Vong, the Yuuzhan Vong. They're still canon. Now in order to get to that conclusion, we need to follow a thread back as far back as we can go. So where does this thread begin? It begins with Malachor 5. In Season 2 of Rebels, the plot takes us to Malachor 5. Now the world looks different from its previous appearance in Knights of the Old Republic 2, however, I can see the Ithorians, the species repairing Telos in KOTOR 2, going back and trying to repair it as a symbol of hope, proving that nothing is unsalvageable. This includes Malachor, where one of the greatest atrocities of the war, or at the very least, one of the bloodiest battles of the war took place. So, for a bit of context, Malachor 5 was the last battle of the Mandalorian Wars. Mitra Surik, the Jedi Exile, activated a superweapon known as the Mass Shadow Generator, which wiped out everyone on the planet. Not long after, Darth Traya created a Sith Academy there, and the events of KOTOR 2 would unfold. However, due to the contradiction that it would present, Malachor 5 isn't destroyed. Instead, it still lingers. In a way, you get the dark side ending to KOTOR 2, or Goto stops Remote from activating the generator. One way or another, it doesn't happen. The planet isn't reduced to an asteroid field. So then we jump to the Galactic Dark Age, approximately 2000 BBY, an age where the Jedi and Sith are beating the hell out of one another for 1,000 years. This is where we get the Sith Temple and Jedi bodies. Traya's temple was never destroyed, making it a rallying point for the Sith. The Army of Light, or simply an army of Jedi, attack it, leading to a battle that we see the aftermath of. Okay, so we have Malachor 5. Why does this matter, and how does it tie into the Vong? Simple. It has Mitra Surik, which means we have Revan. You see, Malachor 5 would still be a living world if it was not for Revan and Mitra's orders to use the Mass Shadow Generator. With this in mind, we now have our final in for the Yuuzhan Vong. We have Canderous Ordo. During one of Canderous' war stories during Knights of the Old Republic 1, he talks about how he and his crew came across a living asteroid, and, well, I'll let you listen for yourself.
We were going through the asteroid fields of the Crispin system at the very edge of the galaxy, playing with the pirates and smugglers we found there. The main belt in the Crispin system consists of mainly small rocks covered in frozen methane gas shells, and the pirates were using them for cover. Ha! I remember using a thermal generator to cause the outer layer of one of the asteroids to vaporize in a picosecond. It blew out and shredded the 3 smugglers using it for cover. But that was a mistake. The asteroid I had targeted was smaller than most, maybe a dozen meters on a side. On the outside, it looked the same as any other, just a ball covered in frozen gas. But something must have been inside it, something inactive in the cold. The heat of my blast might have triggered something or woken something up. After I'd hit it, spots of light and heat appeared all over the thin shell, still covering it, evaporating the gases. What lay underneath looked like some sort of rocky growth. A deformed rock, pitted by scores of micrometeorite scars. I think something even older might have been inside that. Maybe, but maybe not. It started rotating faster and faster as we watched it. After a second, it started spraying fire, thermal projectiles that melted our armor like wax. We were caught completely by surprise. Before we could counterattack, it fled at an incredible speed. We couldn't catch it, but we could follow its hyperspace wake. We followed its trail as far as we could, heading away from the galactic core. When it finally led beyond the edge of our galaxy, we abandoned our efforts. Anything that wants to commit suicide in that great void is not worth our trouble trying to catch. That's the only story I have for now. I'll tell you some more stuff later if we get the chance.
It was later confirmed in a wide variety of sources that this asteroid was in fact a Yuuzhan Vong scout ship, or just a Yuuzhan Vong ship ahead of the main fleet. To recap, Malachor 5 ties us to Mitra Surik, who ties us to Revan, who in turn ties us to Canderous Ordo, who has one of the first recorded interactions with the Vong in galactic history. Not bad, Ordo. You become Mandalore, and you try to stop the Vong before they become a threat. Good on you. Now, this raises the question of what the hell happened to the Vong? They should be invading by the time The Force Awakens is happening, due to the timeline being rather close to one another. Hell, I think 30 years after Return of the Jedi is when they attack, which is where we're at in the current canon with The Force Awakens. All in all, it is uncertain what happened to the Vong. Maybe they're lingering in dark space, waiting. Maybe they were intercepted by a much larger threat they could not handle. Or the writers don't want to do anything with them. Now, all in all, yes, they are still technically non-canon, as is everything not backed up by the films and TV shows. But if you have a similar philosophy to mine, then this is a way to keep holding on hope for everyone's favorite super masochists. So with all that said, I've been Boofar191. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Tell me what you thought down below. I'll see you guys all next time. Goodbye.